Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
About 2 years ago, on the 21st of August 2021, the Ishekiri nation crowned Prince Shola Emiko as the 21st Olu of Warri. His ascension to the throne did not come about quietly, as crisis greeted his selection. Intrigues, backstabbing, and maneuverings characterized the entire process. He, however, overcame all the hurdles and emerged as the 21st Olu of Warri. At that time, we put out a documentary that chronicled all the activities that led up to his coronation. It was titled Ogiame Atuashe III, The Making of a King. That documentary went on to win the award for the Best Television Documentary at the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards. 2 years after his coronation, the Ishekiri nation is still plagued by royal, cultural, and traditional crisis. Certain confessions and revelations have now exposed the true picture of what happened 2 years ago. Indeed, the entire crisis revolves around the Olubusere chieftaincy stool and the person of Chief Ayiri Emami. As a sequel to our earlier documentary, we have now put together another documentary titled The Ologbotsere Chieftaincy Stool and the Denigration of Ayiri Emami.
The Warri Kingdom of the Ishekiris in Delta State, Nigeria was founded in 1480. Its history, culture and tradition, which have lasted over 540 years, can be traced back to the Great Benin Empire, which was founded by the Edo people of southern Nigeria sometime around 1180. It was indeed an extremely important and powerful kingdom in West Africa. The Benin Kingdom reached its highest power and glory during the reign of Oba Warri, who reigned from 1440 to 1480. It was at the end of Oba Warri's reign and following the fear of possible succession crisis that one of the princes left Benin Kingdom with sons of 70 chiefs to establish what is today known as the Warri Kingdom. When Prince Ginowa arrived in what is known today as Warri Kingdom, there were 5 aboriginal communities: Irigbo, Inori, Ureju, Omadino, and Ugborudo. These communities coalesced to become one kingdom. They then adopted monarchy and declared Prince Ginowa from Benin Kingdom as Ogiame Ginowa I, their first king. Thus, the Ishekiri nation and Warri Kingdom was born. This history explains certain cultural and traditional similarities within both kingdoms. Their monarchs, the Oba of Benin and the Olu of Warri, exercise supreme authority over the culture and traditional affairs of their people. They are both assisted by nobles who are members of a traditional council of chiefs. They each hold different chieftaincy titles that define their functions in the kingdoms. Some of the chieftaincy titles which can be found in both kingdoms include the Iyase in Benin, known as Iyashere in Warri, and Olubusere, which is pronounced the same way in both kingdoms. However, while the Iyase is the traditional prime minister in Benin Kingdom, the Olubusere is the prime minister and most senior chief in Warri Kingdom. The Olubusere title was first introduced in Benin Kingdom in 1713 by Oba Akenzwa I. However, 47 years after the title was created by Oba Akenzwa in Benin City, and 280 years after Warri Kingdom was established, and following a disagreement with the Iyashere of Warri Kingdom at that time, Ogiame Erejua I established the Olubusere title and installed the first Olubusere of Warri Kingdom in 1760, who then became the most senior chief and traditional prime minister of Warri Kingdom. By 1951, Erejua II installed Omayone Mayuku as the second Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom. After the demise of Ologbotsere Mayuku, Ogiame Erejua II projected Chief O.N. Rewani from Uwangwe title holder to become the third Olugbotsere of Warri Kingdom. Upon his demise in 1987, after crowning Ogiame Atuwase II on the 2nd of May 1987, no Olugbotsere was appointed during the 28-year rule of Ogiame Atuwase II. However, upon his ascension to the throne, the 20th Olu of Warri Kingdom, Ogiame Ikenwonli I, decided to appoint Chief Ayiri Emami as the fourth Olugbotsere of Warri Kingdom. Apart from being the traditional prime minister, the Olugbotsere is also chairman of the Olu's Advisory Council and is charged with the onerous responsibility of midwifing the selection and eventual coronation of an Olu of Warri whenever the need arises. This was the situation in which Chief Ayiri Emami, the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, found himself in December 2020 when the 20th Olu of Warri, Ogiame Ikenwonli I, surprisingly joined his ancestors. According to the declaration made under Section 8 of the Traditional Rulers and Chiefs Edict 1979, stating the customary law regulating succession to the title of Olu of Warri, the Ologbotsere presides over all activities and formally installs the Olu in the presence of the general public. However, Chief Ayiri's insistence on adherence to Section 4 of the edict, which states, to qualify, a candidate's mother must be an Ishekiri or of Edo origin, meant that Prince Shola Emiko, as he then was, could not qualify as he had 5 years earlier been disqualified as a candidate for the throne by this provision, since his mother is Yoruba from Ogun State. Therefore, the only way to the exalted throne of Warri Kingdom for Prince Shola Emiko was to bypass Chief Ayiri and brazenly ignore the 1979 edict. And so, as has now been revealed, princes of Warri Kingdom under the aegis of Giniwa I ruling house gathered together and surreptitiously suspended Chief Ayiri Emami as Olugbotsere of Warri.
Chief Ayiri Emami, having exhibited actions and tendencies unbecoming of the position he occupies, and having proven himself unworthy of the Ologbotsere stool, is hereby suspended from the Warri.
The suspension, according to Prince Yemi Emiko, wrong as it was to make way for the Iyashere of Warri, Prince Johnson Amasherule, to assume chairmanship of the Warri Council of Chiefs and specifically proceed with the selection of Prince Shola Emiko as well as his coronation as Ogiame Atuwase III.
I took the lead in the activities that suspended Ayiri Emami from being a Ologbotsere and appointed Iyashere as acting chairman of the Warri Council of Chiefs. That singular action paved the way for the current Olu to mount the throne.
Curiously, the spokesman for the Giniwa I ruling house who read out Ayiri's suspension, Prince Toju Emiko, is the author of a book titled The Emergence of His Majesty Ogiame Ikenwonli as the 20th Olu of Warri. In chapter 3 of Prince Toju's book, he chronicled the impossibility of Prince Shola Emiko's ascendance to the throne of Warri Kingdom and why he was disqualified from consideration as a possible Olu of Warri. According to Prince Toju, Prince Shola Emiko, now Ogiame Atuwase III, failed to satisfy the requirements of Section 4 of the Statutory Declaration of the Traditional Rulers and Chiefs Edict 1979. In other words, Prince Toju Emiko, in supporting the suspension of Chief Ayiri to get him out of the way and enable the selection of Prince Shola Emiko as Olu designate, knew that he was indeed embarking on an illegal journey for which himself, a legal practitioner, had lost all integrity. Several well-meaning people like Chief Isaac Jemide, one of the 5 kingmakers and Oshodi of Warri at that time, protested disregard for extant laws, but all protests fell on deaf ears.
As far as we are concerned, that suspension is null and void.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know, not only null and void, it is madness. It's wrong in all forms. The Ologbotsere is the one to preside over this process. The man who presided over it is number 2 in the rank of chieftaincy, and he has no right to preside over it. And he did not follow the due process as provided for in the law.
Also, legal luminary and Olufusi of Warri, Professor Ise Sage, appealed for an amicable resolution of the differences with the Olubusere, warning that any legal action arising from tussle for the crown and suspension of Chief Ayiri would have grave consequences for the crown and Ishekiri nation. The Igba of Warri and Ishekiri women leader, Chief Mrs. Rita Lori Ogbebo, who wrote 20 volumes on the position of Ishekiri women concerning the selection and coronation of a new Olu of Warri in 2021, made it abundantly clear that the Edict of 1979 must be complied with. Also, she insisted that the new Olu, amongst other things, must be fluent in Ishekiri language, a requirement which Ogiame Atuwashe III does not possess, as he is unable to communicate in Ishekiri language, as evident on the day of his coronation as well as the last 2 years of his reign. The position of the women and other Ishekiri leaders strengthens Chief Ayiri's resolve to stand firm on the adherence to the 1979 Chieftaincy Edict. To confirm that Chief Ayiri's suspension by the Giniwa I ruling house was a deliberate plot to trample upon the laws of the state and go ahead with the installation of Ogiame Atuwashe III, a close advisor of the Olu and Ogwa Oluson of Warri Kingdom, Chief Mene Brown, who had earlier supported the action of the princes in April 2021, inadvertently confirmed on a recent interview that princes had no locus on chieftaincy matters.
Whatever Prince Yemi Emiko said, in fact, he has no locus as far as chieftaincy is concerned in the Warri Kingdom. Even princes, when they gather together, they do not, as princes, have a voice to determine who is a chief and who is not a chief.
Not satisfied with Chief Ayiri's suspension, some members of the Warri Council of Chiefs sent a petition to security agencies alleging theft of royal crown and beads by Chief Ayiri and other persons. Chief Ayiri was summoned to the police headquarters in Benin for interrogation, where he told the police he knew nothing about the theft of royal crown and beads.
Which I told them I know nothing about.
Chief Ayiri then addressed all the traditional rulers in Delta State, pointing out the danger of supporting a bypass of the chieftaincy edict. The traditional rulers, who all have similar chieftaincy edicts in their different kingdoms, understood clearly that an attempt was being made to trample on the laws of the state, and they promptly disassociated themselves from the entire coronation activities of Ogiame Atuwashe III. On the 21st of August 2021, the day of coronation of Ogiame Atuwashe III, not a single traditional ruler from Delta State was in attendance as they boycotted the event. Was the allegation of theft against Ayiri a situation of calling a dog a bad name in order to hang it? Well, the chiefs who petitioned Chief Ayiri have voluntarily withdrawn the matter from court. Prince Yemi Emiko, who led the charge against Chief Ayiri Emami in April 2021, says they understood very clearly that Chief Ayiri Emami was right in his insistence of adherence to the 1979 chieftaincy edict and had committed no offense against the Ishekiri nation.
Ayiri, I will say this a million times, has not committed any crime against anybody in this land. All Ayiri did was stand by the law. Ayiri is not the one who wrote that law. He's not the one. But if you look at that law, Olubusere is all over, it's written all over the place as the owner of the process. I called some of the elders and said, look, let's try and find a way to put him on the throne. After which, we can then sit down to amend the law, to do things about putting things right. But they got their sins and then kicked everybody away.
Prince Yemi further reveals that since Chief Ayiri Emami refused to bypass the 1979 chieftaincy edict, the resolution was to get him out of the way, but later reconcile him with the palace and indeed the Ishekiri nation. Almost 2 years after his coronation, Ogiame Atuwashe III has not been able to reconcile with Chief Ayiri Emami. Instead, the Olu has disrobed Chief Ayiri as Olubusere twice, abolished the Olubusere title, reversed himself and appointed another person as Olubusere of Warri to the chagrin of the Olubusere family. Pa Hickson Okporokun, the Oloriebi of the Olubusere family, says the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuwashe III, was wrong in his action.
The Olu, as the Apamasin of Shekiri, we were not able to tell him that day that what he's doing was wrong. But now, I think we have put this matter into court to make him know that that decision should be changed. The only person we know and we have approved, we the Ologbotsere descendants, approved, agreed upon is Chief Ayiri Emami.
We stand by and with Chief Ayiri Emami, and we pass a vote of confidence on him as the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom.
Chief Omamuli, one of the chiefs who refused to be revalidated by Ogiame Atuwashe III, says though the Olu had invited Chief Ayiri for reconciliation, his plan was to trick them to the palace and humiliate them in the process.
We were like ambushed into that meeting, deceived into that meeting, and the peace became elusive.
In its open letter to Ogiame Atuwashe III and signed by chairman of the Iwere Consultative Forum, Prince Clem Omotoye, and Secretary Arubi Ajofoton, they expressed concern that given the recent developments in the Ishekiri nation, it does appear that the Ishekiri customs and traditions were under threat. The Iwere Consultative Forum in their open letter repeatedly asked again and again, where are the traditional advisors? Where are the handlers of the Olu? In response to the open letter from the Iwere Consultative Forum, the Olu, through his head of back office operations, Mr. Oris Onuwaje, invited them for a meeting with him. However, the Iwere Forum declined any meeting with the Olu, insisting that the Olu instead meets with a larger respectable Ishekiri critical mass who are very concerned about the worrisome development in Ishekiri nation. The Iwere Consultative Forum, in their letter of reply to the invitation, said they were afraid of their safety as there are cases of people who were invited to the palace to meet with the Olu but were severely beaten up by undesirable elements. They also noted that the Olu's use of trickery in inviting people to the palace for one thing and end up doing another thing calls to question the sincerity of the Olu. They cited the case of the botched reconciliation with Chief Ayiri and how the Olu used his invitation to Ayiri for reconciliation to humiliate him and even embarrass mediators like Pastor Ayo Orishejafo and many others. They advised the Olu to change his ways and remember that he is Olu of Ishekiri nation and not just for a group of Ishekiris. Several well-meaning Nigerians had tried to intervene and bring peace to Warri Kingdom, but all to no avail. The Oni of Ife and Arole Odua Oba Adeyeye Eniton Ogunwusi Ojaja II visited Warri in January 2023 to try to mediate between the Olu and Chief Ayiri. While visiting Chief Ayiri at his home, he counseled on the need to have Chief Ayiri Emami remain as Olubusere of Warri for the good of Ishekiri nation.
Olubusere, Chief Ayiri, you have a lot of role to play in your kingdom. You don't have anywhere to go to. You, as the Prime Minister, of the entire Warri people, he is a mirror of the entire heritage of the Warri people. It's very difficult to replace such a person. Very difficult because of what he carries it in his head. He doesn't joke with it. He knows what to do at the right time. He's been in the system, not now.
Chief Ayiri Emami, born on the 26th of April 1975, is a businessman, politician and philanthropist who is chairman, chief executive officer of A&E Group, a company with investments in oil and gas, construction, haulage, entertainment and the hospitality industry. An Ishekiri billionaire, Chief Ayiri is a defender of Ishekiri interests and a promoter of Ishekiri culture and tradition. A philanthropist, Ayiri has funded scholarships for indigent Ishekiri sons and daughters and financed small-scale businesses for members of his community. After the destruction of Ode Ishekiri, the ancestral headquarters of the Ishekiri people over 20 years ago, following communal crisis with their Ijaw neighbors, Chief Ayiri contributed in no small measure in the rebuilding of Ode Ishekiri. He is a known advocate for the upliftment of the Ishekiri nation. Hence, Ogiame Atuwashi II conferred on him the chieftaincy title of AKUGHA of Warri at the young age of 37. Even at the botched April 16 failed reconciliation meeting, Ogiame Atuwashi III acknowledged Chief Ayiri's contributions to the Ishekiri nation and asked everyone to stand up in his honor.
I want all of you. Well, it's not about whether you like the man or not. You stand up and celebrate the man for the way of God.
Chief Ayiri's many contributions to the Ishekiri nation are not only acknowledged by the high and mighty, as most people in Warri Kingdom and beyond readily acknowledge that the man Ayiri is indeed an enigma.
Chief Ayiri is the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, and you can see he's loved by his people, and you can see the massive crowd gathering all over him.
Some people think that they can isolate him. It is not possible. Chief Ayiri still remains the Ologbotsere of Iwere Kingdom, Warri Kingdom.
In all that has happened, Chief Ayiri insists that as Olubusere of Warri Kingdom, he communes from time to time with his ancestors and the gods of Ishekiri nation, and as such, can never be part of anything that does not conform to the laid down rules and regulations, as well as the dictates of the ancestors. Hence, he has uncompromisingly stood firm to defend the 1979 chieftaincy edict that stipulates the processes for the selection and coronation of an Olu of Warri. Chief Ayiri's conviction has led him to approach the judiciary for full interpretation of the 1979 chieftaincy edict and challenge his suspension as Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom. If the courts grants Chief Ayiri's prayers and restores him as Olubusere, it would mean that all actions done immediately after he was suspended by the princes of Warri Kingdom will be declared null and void, and that would mean that a recommencement of the selection process for an Olu designate will have to be done. If Chief Ayiri successfully gets to this point, it would confirm his belief and position that his suspension as Olubusere and subsequent trumped-up allegation of theft of royal crowns and beads were all done to demonize him and get him out of the way to ensure coronation of the current Olu of Warri, which he continues to insist was done in violation of the extant laws of Delta State. As they say, the wheels of justice turns slowly but grinds exceedingly fine. It will indeed take some time, but without a doubt, justice will be served.
Inside the Niger Delta,